Hey, what's happening, guys? Dan Darrow here with another Options to Play video update. We are into the last week of June, the last full week of June, and earnings calendar is still pretty light. There are a couple big names. They're mostly at the back half of the week, though, so things will start a little bit quieter. From a scheduled news perspective, we definitely have not been lacking for action, though. So even though we don't have a lot of scheduled news, I still expect a pretty busy first few weeks, few days of the week. But in terms of earnings, nothing scheduled before the open on Monday, nothing after the close, nothing before the open on Tuesday, also nothing after the close. Wednesday before the open, Winnebago, priced in about 6 points. Those are monthly options, and honestly, if it wasn't the only name scheduled, I'd probably not even be looking at this. I haven't traded Winnebago in a long time. It really doesn't act great right now. I doubt this is something I would play with options, but I mean it does occasionally move a bit on earnings. So I guess if it's something that you focus on and you've traded in the past, maybe it's something you can take a look at now. Because occasionally you will get a pretty big move around earnings, but I don't think I'm going to be involved with it. After the close on Wednesday, another one probably not going to be involved with. KBH, about 4 points is what's expected. Those are also monthly options. Lennar had a pretty solid quarter this past week, so maybe that sets the tone for KBH, right? Home builders, though, have been out of play for a couple months. And I mean, I feel like I've said this the last few home builder reports, but I mean, it's going to take more than like one good quarter here and there to kind of get the momentum going in this group again. So I feel like this is more of like a wait and see. If it's good and the stock acts well, then maybe that kind of gets momentum like going again, right? Because then you have Lennar, which was good, and KBH is good, and maybe like people start to circle back around to the sector, and there could be some swing trade opportunities. But I think they'll just be that swing trade ideas and less of like an earnings play. For the open on Thursday, Darden. So about 11.5 points is what's expected. Those are monthly options. Reopen stocks are really beginning to lose momentum fast. Restaurants look like an area that are susceptible to me too. Some of these dine-in restaurants they're actually higher than where they were pre-pandemic. So I find it hard to be super bullish on them and Darden too going into earnings, especially if selling is really starting to like pick up across the restaurant space. Um, I haven't traded this one in a while, and it only has monthly options, so premiums are a little bit higher. But it might be a bearish idea for me, depending on how the week goes. Like if the restaurant stocks are still real heavy, I might look at it more as like a bearish idea. Also Thursday before the open, Rite Aid pricing about 275 or so. It could be an interesting volatility strategy candidate. Had a 5+ point move last quarter. It's only pricing in about 275, so just a little bit over half of what it actually moved last quarter. So to me, like there's still some room below to the 200-day. There's room above, and historically, there's been some pretty good movement around earnings. So it seems like a decent setup. After the close on Thursday, it's kind of the main event of the week. Blackberry pricing in about 2 points. This should be entertaining. The stock has closed red after reporting 2 quarters in a row, but I mean, obviously, that hasn't mattered much for the stock. The biggest question is whether this quarter will be different and whether or not earnings even matter. It's the same thing kind of with like GameStop, right? Did earnings really even matter? Um, I guess it might set up slightly better for the bull side after the recent pullback, but it's still kind of like a toss-up because option pricing is a little bit higher than what it historically moves. But I mean, especially if that pricing keeps walking down during the week, could be more interesting. Fedex, so about 17.5 points is what's priced in. Industrials have lost a lot of momentum. Same thing with like the reopen names. FedEx back into the 280s again, and actually it's kind of near where it closed last time it reported, which was like right here. So I do feel like the numbers should be good, but it's kind of hard to say what the stock will do, right? Because if people are more interested in risk off, right, and the value reopened, then it's going to be kind of hard to see this up a lot, in my opinion. So I'm going to have to see how the week plays out, determine whether it may make more sense to just wait until after earnings to try a swing trade on it. And then lastly, on Thursday after the close, Nike is another big name. About 7 points is what's priced in. Stock is really not acting well. It's hovering above monthly support and really threatening a pretty major breakdown. It was hit on its last quarter, and I mean, I think it really needs a strong print this time around. Otherwise, it could start a real big breakdown. Um, and I guess it could be a decent volatility strategy candidate. The option pricing is not low, um, but it's kind of like a make or break setup actually. I do think though that if I do think like the bull side would probably need more time to play out because it could take longer for it to really recover and get back through some big levels on the upside. So if I do anything, it would probably be like staggered expiration strategy. And then Friday before the Open, Carmax, so about 7.5 points is what's expected here. Um, if option pricing was a little bit lower, I think it could be an interesting setup because it's off its high and it's been in a pretty tight month-long consolidation, so it seems like it's due for a move. It disappointed last quarter after a huge run, got hit. That was this bar here, and I feel like it's definitely a pattern where it seems like it could move. But at 7 points, 7.5 points, it seems a little bit higher, and I guess I could look at like an AutoNation, like an AN or Carvana, CVNA, as like a potential sympathy play, but they don't always move exactly with Carmax. So, um, you know, if the premiums come down, maybe I'll look at Carmax. If not, maybe I'll look at sympathy plays on like a Carvana or an AutoNation. And then lastly, Friday morning, JKS. So about 7 points is what's priced in, but those are monthly contracts. Solars, they 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 showed some life this week. They've been attempting to turn the court, and I guess I'm more focused on what JKS says because it's not my favorite solar stock to trade. So I feel like if it's good, stock acts well, like that could keep momentum building across the sector. SunPower, First Solar, Sunrun, those are kind of like the names I focus on more. So I'm mainly more interested in what JKS says and how the stock reacts versus actually playing it for an earnings play. All right. And that's it. So a few big names, mostly in the back half of the week. But maybe we'll get some unscheduled news on Monday and Tuesday. So we'll just have to wait and see. All right. So if you like this video and you're looking for more information on trading earnings with options or swing trading with options, please follow up with the link in the description of the video for more information on options and play. Hope you have a wonderful weekend. Stay well, and I will talk to you on Monday.